All right, guys. It's Tuesday, the 28th of April. Let's do some coding. So if you hold on 2 seconds, I'm going to turn down the music and turn down my monitors and switch to our live scene. Here we go. All right, that's Young Carts playing us out there. I actually reached out to Young Carts today just to say, how about you come write a tune for the game? So he's pretty good at writing the hip-hop beats. He sells them at youngcarts.com. Maybe he'll say yes. Who knows? So let's see where we're at today. We've got a project plan. We're programming in Godot. If you're new to the stream, if you're watching us on Twitch today, then we are working on an audio adventure using Godot. So we have got locations. So these are our locations at the moment. We've got a balcony, we've got a study, a living area, an R&D, and an elevator. And the goal here is to create a big, old, expansive world. But at the moment, we're creating the tools to create the world and to put the game inside. So getting a few skipped frames at the moment. Not used to streaming to Twitch. So if there's any issues with the stream, please, please, please pop it in the comment. Let me know. It's my first time live streaming on Twitch. So what can I say? Apologies. Right. So let's have a quick run with the code. And actually, you know what we can do? Turn this music off because I might just stick on Spotify or something in the background. So let's give this a quick run. So we recap on where we're at the moment. So we can move around different locations. We can have some sort of intro narration when you enter a location, if we want it. We can exit the lift. We can actually let's go back in the lift and go up to R&D. Here we are in R&D. Leave. But you know what? I'm actually going to go. That's supposed to be a science fiction game. Not quite there yet. So we were working on the cutscene in our last episode, and we want to finish this off today. Got to get rid of that last pause there. So that's our cutscene system working. Fades out a bit quick. So there's a few issues we identified, and in our document here, we still need to have a name. Unnamed. We need a name for this adventure. Seem to get some idea of what it's going to be. We can talk about it in a better way. So actually, if we go right to the end here we go. Current things we're trying to do at the moment are we need to reset everything on skip cutscene so it plays again neatly. At the moment, if we play it over and over, it messes up a bit. We need to stop all players on the skip cutscene. So we've got voices that continue to play, so we need to stop those. Background audio not fading out correctly. It's very harsh. Just fades out very quick. So let's start looking at that. First thing I'm going to do is go into scripts, and we are going to turn off the narrative so I don't have to listen to myself every time I start the game. In fact, The fact we've got footsteps at the beginning is a bit daft as well, because I'm waking up with footsteps. Seems a bit daft. I'm going to need to add that as well. I'm going to have to say, I'm just going to say, to skip the transition audio. If you're not familiar with the transition audio, that is the wonderful transition between scenes. So much detail here that you don't see when you're playing it. But so when you enter the lift, we have the sound of you walking to the lift, and then we have the sound of you entering the lift. So those are two transitions: the transition out from where we are, and the transition in to the new location. So here we go: footsteps, into, lift, door shut. Then a background audio for the location. So that is the lift location audio. Quite a quick transition there as well. Maybe a little bit fast. I think we actually changed it last week. Let's have a look here. Well, first things first, let's get some music on. What do we fancy today? Let's go for some retro music. Now, if I'm uploading to YouTube, you won't get any of this music anymore. I keep getting hammered with these copyright claims for young carts because he does loops. The loops get caught up by everyone that's used his loops, and everyone then hammers the video with the copyright claims, which is crazy. So, yeah, a bit of a shame. Let's see what we got here. Jeez. There we go. Let's pop this in the background. Right. So exits, that's fine. Oh, that's pretty bad, actually. I'm sure we can do better. You know, I'll just put on an old playlist. We'll see what we get. There we go. Right. So here's our current timer, current script, tutorial. I'm going to take away this delay, so we'll get rid of that. I've got a pause at the end here. I'm not sure what that's for. Just, I suppose so it just doesn't immediately end the moment the talking finishes. Okay, let's identify the first bug then. So I need to reset everything on skip cut scene so it plays again. So let's just try it. So we play it, and then we skip it, and then we play it again. And then we skip it, and then we play it again. Oh, up in there. Oh. Now, I'm still playing the cutscene now, still fading it in. Oh! Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. What went wrong there? Wow, that's scary. So, start the cutscene. Let's fade a bit more in. Give it some time. Here comes the noise. Plays that, skip it. Yeah, see, now the audio keeps playing. So, cutscene tutorial. What we need is a way of getting out of this. interesting. It's like we actually need to have a real script, right? We need some kind of process loop, because at the moment, because we're doing this programmatically, we're stepping through each bit and we're saying, run this command, 2 seconds. Sorry about that. So there's a TV going on in the background. So yeah, so at the moment, obviously this is just going to keep playing. It wants to continue playing. So we have this bit of text in our cutscene object. Let's see, this bit of text, this bit of code here, right? Which says if they let go of the button, get out of there. So the only way we can really enforce this is like, it means we need some sort of switch, and then every time we do a command, actually we could do this, right? Yeah, we can do this. So what we need is like some sort of global, yeah, in fact, you don't need a global, we just need the cutscene object, right? Can exit and is playing, right? So when we start the cutscene, we set is playing to true, right? Right. Now, for any functions that we call, especially ones that are built into our game controller, we need to 2 secs. I'll be back again. Hang on. Just the worst timing possible. People going to the bathroom, blasting the stream. Right. Sorry about that. And hey, DavX8342, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. We are coding an audio adventure series. Would you like to be a character? Would you like to be in the game somehow? Let me give you a quick example of what we're doing here. So at the moment we're creating this sort of structure. GB Game Boy. Oh, Graham. Hey. Twitch and the username scheme. Yeah, I'm actually just struggling with Twitch, and the whole night has been a bit of a mess, to be honest. I thought maybe I should have done a little bit of practice first and worked out what's going on. But I'm just taking the bull by the horns and having my best attempt. And out there I am trying to engage with you, man. Trying to engage with my. Do you want to be a character, man? Do you want to be a character here, Mr. GB? I can make your character. Let's make a character for GB. All I have to do, pull my character object up here. Oh, that's not my character object. There it is. We'll switch to the scene tree. There we go. So we can see at the moment we've got one character, the AI. So I'm going to pull in a new character. Stick him up here, which we'll call this character Graham. Right. Live improv. Yes. It's not easy. You've got a house full of people. So yes, the character Graham now exists, and we can decide where Graham is. So where will Graham be? Graham will be in, and we can go into our switch scene again. switch screen again. So we can see what's going on. There we go. Where should we put you? Let's put you on the balcony, enjoying the view of Europa. We haven't got a screen there yet, but so if I just do a test now, we should have Graham in the balcony. There he is. And what I'd like to do is for Graham to be able to walk around, you know, just sort of put his arms behind his back and just pace around and say some incoherent statements about life and whatever. Just, I want to bring some life to the characters so they aren't just a character in a location that you interact with for a puzzle, but they actually engage in some way. And I want to introduce some sort of RPG aspects, you know, your classic stats based gaming. Probabilities and dice rolling. I don't know if we need dice per se, but the thing is, I'm a bit scared about just diving in doing something like that because whilst I've done a few things like that before, you really have to have a really good idea of what you're going to do, and I haven't got a Scooby-Doo of what I'm going to do yet. So anyways, we're going to interact with Graham. You can see down here it's telling us we can't find a script for object interact Graham. So we pull up our funky dialogue designer. And now we can create an initial message. And we can start talking to Graham and have an interaction. I don't know if you've seen this already. So we can say, Graham looks at you. Graham stares you in the eye. And we need to add a character, Graham. And we'll have our main pack character because that is always going to be there. I need to work out how to reference the main player instead of adding him with this tool. I'm not sure I'll even use this tool, to be honest. So Graham stares you in the eye, poke him in the eye. Or so we can add as many choices you like here. Shake his hand and congratulate him. And mention the great view. And now we can actually, you know what we can do? We can have let's create a probability tree. Although if we start down that road, it'll get really hard. I'm really actually quite keen to know if this is actually going to work or not. It's been ages since we started using this. So, there we go. So Jove pokes him in the eye, says, "Take that." Graham responds, "You bastard." Can't spell. I'll do. And you know what? Jove is saying, "Nice to meet you." Come, take a seat and enjoy the view, because you're looking out into Jupiter, apparently, from your view, from your Europa living area. I've never done a three-way choice yet. Knowing my luck, this will now break. Top view you have here. And It's not bad. Right, there we go. I need to change all these to non, whatever the hell that is. That needs to be Graham. All right, let's try that. So we're going to export that, give it a file name, call it Graham test, export. That's it. Open the folder, move Graham test into our Godot folder. Into our dialogues folder, copy the file name, back in here. Oh, got this open a few times, haven't we? Oh, that's not good. Close that one. I've got it open 3 times. Not using that one. There we go. So Graham needs a script. So go into the game script. We're going to create a new character script for interacting with Graham. So we'll call it interact Graham. And Graham dot talk. Don't think it matters whether we return false or not. Right, so now Graham as a person needs a script assigned to him. So we need to open up our Graham test script there. Pick a face for him. I'll just go for the usual Godot face. Voice pitch, give him a nice high pitch voice. And see if we can talk to Graham. Guess not. Graham is not identified. Oh, I think we need to declare the character up here. Don't need to, but it's tidier this way. All right, into the lift. Oh no, he's not in the lift, he's in the balcony. There he is. Let's see if we can say hello. Oh, what is this? What is this? Attempt to call function get in base null instance. Null instance being the face, I think. Message current speaker get face not equal to null. Let's have a look at our script here. It's not the slide camera, is it? I don't think so. I'm going to turn that off anyway. I'm going to have to change this music due to the file language. See what we can change to here. What's this? Something a bit different. Okay, let's just export that again. I'm going to move that over again. So Graham test. Projects, audio, dialogues, boom. All right. Oh. Character not found Jove. Is that the issue? Ah, of course. We never defined that. Wow, does that mean we can have an interaction with the AI? I'm going to create another character called Jove. That should be player, shouldn't it? Yeah, job with player is it's not really a real element. So I'm going to create a new character called Jove. Okay, so now we can say, whoops. Now we can say Jove has the following face. Same face. And Jove is also in the, actually, I'm not going to give him a location because I don't think it's relevant. Right, let's try that. Oh, we haven't hooked to it here yet. Let's just do that. Okay, just restart. Variable Graham already exists. Oh, Jove. Okay, and take two. Can't imagine this will work, but you never know. Whoops, wrong one. It's playing the cutscene. All right, step one seems to work. Nice. All right. Seems to be working quite nice. So, well, that's nice to know. So if we define our characters up here, we can have them all interact, regardless of what location they're in. Right, anyway, right, so Graham's been implemented. I'm going to commit Graham to the source. Graham, we hereby commit you to the source. Committed new character, Graham. Yeah. It's handy because now we can start adding any friends of the stream and maybe integrating them in various places. I think that's definitely something we should do moving forward. Should be donation only. Donate to have your face, your character attached here. Steph will give you some fun role. All right, so let's get back to the problem at hand. So we want to be able to jump out of these. We don't want these to run. The real issue are the audio-based ones. So audio controller and cutscene. Excuse me. Oh, geez. So cutscene's a fairly simple thing to fix because in cutscene we can just check it's playing. So actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because I don't think it's cutscene. I think it's multiple things that might share this. I'm going to have is playing cutscene. That's now going to be a global variable, right? Okay, so we can now go into our cutscene script. And so now this becomes G dot, right? Yep. Okay, so the cutscene starts. We set is playing to true. Oh, wait, it's is playing cutscene. Now we can check this variable in all of our functions. So play effects. Right, so we're not going to play the effects unless the cutscene's playing. That way, we might want to stop the effects. We'll always allow the stop. We won't allow the play. So, in fact, I think we've just add this to each function. That's going to be the most optimized call to make, right? So if we're not playing the cutscene, then get out of there. Play background audio only if we're playing the cutscene. Stop background audio. And we don't want to impact on these, do we? I don't think so, because we're hiding the whole UI, so none of the graphics matters. As soon as that transition happens, we hide the lot. Could still, technically, an animation could still finish, right? But it's more likely that the animation will be working. I wonder if we can just stop. Yeah, you know what? So in our end cutscene, we'll probably need to do this stuff, right? We need to stop all our animators, apart from anything to do with like fading out the audio. So let's have a look at our cutscene objects. What have we got? We've got an animation player. We've got a image animation player. We've got our title animation player. And end scene rect animation player. What was that? I think that's the transition, right? And the subtitle animation player. Definitely want to stop that one as well. I am buzzing like crazy. I'm gonna have to check my phone. I seem to be getting like attacked by spam bots on YouTube. Constantly get all these messages. Right, okay. So now we're stopping all the animation players. Well, that's going to help, right? So let's just see how that affects it. Okay. And stop. Right, now, does our background audio fade in? No. I can hear something though in the background. What is that? Is that me talking? What was that? That's weird. Do it again. Wait for the sound to come in a bit. Skip. So far so good. Let's do this a few times. Whoop. And skip. And on. And skip. And in. And skip. And prepare for the pain. Oh. Much more controlled now, isn't it? What a difference that makes. Let's get some dialogue and just skip the dialogue. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. Okay, you know what's gone wrong there? It's so obvious. It's such an easy one. Place your bets. Do you know what the problem is? The problem is, well, we're setting is playing cutscene to true. We never set it to false when we end the cutscene. So that should immediately stop it carrying on. So here we go again. Clip, clip, clip. Skip. Boom. And skip, and click, and skip, and click, and skip. So that means now we can safely store a load of audio log, a load of cutscenes in our logs. So we can go back into our PDA and play back. What was that conversation that we had? What happened to the tutorial? We want to be able to go back and review old cutscenes. So you'll not only be able to read the text that was in the cutscene, but you'll be able to play it back as well. Could be relevant. Could even squeeze puzzles in there, maybe. Right. Okay, so that's buglet number 1 out the way. Strike. Need to stop all players on skip cutscenes. Yep, so that's what we've just done. And the last one's the background audio is not fading out correctly. It's super fast, isn't it? So we did some clever stuff to try and stop that from happening. So let's have a look. So stop narration should fade out if playing. I mean, that would be a good one as well, but I don't think it's not. It's, you know what, it's just so minor. I don't really care. I don't think anyone's going to notice. You know what, it's not so bad, but it's just that it doesn't seem to be taking 5 seconds to fade out. So it makes me wonder whether that fade out command is actually working correctly. There it is. All right, so you pass in stream player, length, and length defaults to the audio transition fade out duration at the top. Oh, like, for goodness sake. There we go. That was the problem. Problem solved. So now it should fade out in a nice controlled manner. Ooh, nope, still not good. We are passing in the current volume. All right, stream player is going to be, if we look at our audio controller scene, it's going to be this cutscene background audio player, right? So in our process here, we can print out volume dB dollar, right? Cool. All right, so now when we hit play, we should start seeing the current volume for our background audio. So it's going to get faded in. So we should see it fading in here. There we go, from minus 80 to 0 decibels. And now we're at full volume. And we click, that's fading out. Faded out. Quite fast, but that was a 5-second fade out. So it seemed to work. but it didn't seem to work when we did it halfway through, right? So at minus 20. Ah! The problem is the tween hasn't finished yet. So the tween is still, when we end the cutscene, the tween is still active. How do we stop the tween? We need to stop the tween, don't we? Just tween out stop in the audio controller. I've never had to do anything like this before. It makes me want to restructure everything. I mean, architecturally, we could redo the whole game right now and just make it so much better, but that's not the point. I think the whole point of this is to make a proof of concept and make a game. Let's make a game. So where do we start the tween? Let me just think through this a sec. So we start this play background audio cutscene. So play background audio in the cutscene object. So we start doing this, sound to load, yes, blah, blah, blah. Okay, then we ask the audio controller to fade it in. We pass it a link to background audio player. So we switch to audio player, fade in. Yeah, so we're fading in here or fading out, either way. Okay, I think I know what we should do. So at the point you skip, or just after the point that you skip the cutscene, it's going to want to start fading in using the tween in the old location background audio. So we don't want to interrupt that. But what we should do, because it's already fading into the scene, or potentially fading into the scene, we want to stop any existing tween in its tracks and say, no, that's fine, thank you very much. So we need to go into cutscene object. And when we end the cutscene, we've actually got an object for this, the continue game audio, right? And pause game audio. So actually we can handle this from our so we can just get a link here to tween in, stop, and tween out, stop. So the moment that they decide to continue, we're going to reset those tweeners and let them start again. I think that should do the job. Let's try it. So we can see the volume 0, but there's nothing playing at the moment. We start the scene, sets the audio to -80, fades it in, we stop it halfway, and it crashes on its ass. Nice. Attempt to call function stop in base null instance. Oh, for God's sake! I don't know what I think I've got on readies up here, right? Yeah. So they're not dollars. Dollar is like a shortcut code to reference an existing node in the tree. So it's basically just that and that. What was the other one? Tween out pause. Might as well tell that one to stop as well, right? Tween out pause. whatever any of them are doing can wait. All right, oops, there we go. Let's try again. Something very satisfying about killing off bugs. Still doesn't work. Tween in. Stop. What's wrong with that? Is there no method for stop? Guess not. Expected one argument. Oh, there is. All right, let's have a look at the tween object, shall we? Tween. Tween. Let's have a look at the stop command. Tween, stop. Stop what, it's saying? Stop to tween, given its object and property method pair. By default, all tweens are stopped unless key is specified. Well, okay, I see. So we're saying which one of these needs to stop? We don't know which one it is, do we? Could be any of them. We don't fade the voice in. We don't fade the sound effects in. So really, it's only ever going to be the cutscene background audio, right? So we want to reference that. Remember where we were. So I think we do that. And that. I don't know if that's going to work. To be honest, it's a bit haphazard. That is cowboy coding. So now we seem to have killed it completely, and it's still playing in the background. It's decided not to fade itself out. So let's look at our timing here. When do we call continue game audio? In cutscene. Yeah, too early. So, whoops. Yeah, is that right? I think so. Let's try that. So now our tween should continue. It should go invert. There we go. Yeah, back to -80. So we go in. It fades in our audio. We click and fades it back out. We have control. It's nice. It's working quite neatly. I can still hear the bird noises in between the steps. Ah, nice. That's slick. Really coming on. Okay, so background audio not fading out correctly. Fixed. And what's this one? Starts game with transition audio. Oh, yeah, that'll be easy one to fix. But we've fixed 3 very relevant issues to do with the cutscene right now. So, cutscene bug fixes. We've added a new global g.is playing cutscene. Right, and so that's given us a bit more control over how things stop and start. And yeah, okay. Main thing. Right, so steps. So when the game first loads, what does it do? Well, now it goes to That's good. Jolly good. I'm looking at game here because, well, that's the route. I honestly can't remember what on earth we do at the beginning. Well, here we go. Right, so player, use exit living room area. So all we're saying there is that when the game starts, we will throw the player in to the living room area or whatever area we want them. Because we have a load of code that when you go through an exit, it updates the buttons, it updates the scene, and so on. So use exit is a method that belongs to player. So let's have a look at our player script. Use exit. Okay. So all we need really is to say, you know what? There's one time in the entire game when we want to do it slightly different. So we're going to say is first equals false because it's only once. So it's not the first time ever really, unless we do it here. At which point is first is true. Okay. So at the moment that won't crash. It's going to do the same thing. But now we know this is the first time. So we don't want to play that transition audio if is first is true. There might be other things we don't want to do as well. Maybe the first time we load it, we want to do something altogether different. Who knows? So, so we're fading in the background audio. Play location transition. Okay, so we only want to do this if is first is not true, right? There we go. Is it the first time they visited the location? If so, play the narration. Well, that's fine. Has it been visited? Yeah. Play the leaving current audio location. Again, we could do that as well. I don't think we've got one. I think we deliberately set none up, so we wouldn't get that. But play the arriving at. Again, I don't even know what the difference is there, actually. I've forgotten what we did. So we've got two there. We've got audio timer 1, play exit.exit audio. Oh, I see. All we're doing here is waiting to see if that's played. And once it's played, or if it hasn't played, we're going to play the second one. So we don't want any of them. That's it. Problem solved. It was easy. Boom. No more steps. Why don't we add a little juice? Teeny bit of juice to our game. We'll just fix that. So we'll just commit our code. Oh, it's nice, isn't it? Finally, we have completed a cutscene. We did pretty much everything we wanted from that. And cutscenes are looking good, so we're ready to start on something afresh. I'm really, really, really excited to talk to Steph and see what all the additions were like. Anyway, so what do we do here? Fixed bug with first location. When player first spawns, don't play any exit transition audio. Okay, super. Done. Push. Next. We're on a roll. Okay, let's fade out. Yeah, I didn't want to do too much on the UI because I'm really keen to get someone in to look at the UI. But that said, I feel like we should just do a teeny bit just to make it a little bit more usable. I like the thought of the buttons fading in and only becoming usable at some point, so you can't just go. I really wanted to add that level of control to it. So I think we're just going to try that. It's not 10 o'clock yet, and it's something that's been niggling at me for a while. So this whole block here, we've got two blocks. We've got main screen container and interface container. So what we were talking about previously is potentially modulating this to make it invisible, and when you come into a location, we fade in. Or maybe that should stay the same, and we should just fade in the buttons. Everything inside these locations. I am buzzing again. Let's see what I'm buzzing about. Have you drunk any water yet? You know what? I am so thirsty. I am going to grab a quick drink, and I will be back in a sec, because I think I can get another half an hour out of me tonight. So, BRB, and here is some music to keep you going. How about some creeping spiders? Back in a sec. And we're back in the house. Thank you. Oh, Young Carts has hit this. That's just asking to be copyright hit at the moment. Pause that. All right. I need one of these like pick a tune things where you can just you, the viewer, can decide what tune you want. Graham, what would you like? You're probably not listening anyway, but if you were, what would I put on for you? I think a bit of Pink Floyd might be a good option for. I'll put Pink Floyd Radio on. There we go. Sweet. Oh, well, that's not right. I'll have to move that up there. And then move this, I don't know, somewhere else. Maybe put that there, and then move the text over, whoa, over here. How do you move something like that? Oh yeah, like this. Oh, it's very slow, isn't it? Oh, that'll do. Right, back to the scene. Here we go. And we're back. Right. Oh, looks like we lost Graham. Thanks for joining us. So, fade these babies in. Warning, children of a container get their position and size determined only by their parent. That's fine. I don't think, I mean, the UI will look nothing like this when it's done. Guarantee it. So everything we do here is just a bit of polish for before we tear it all down. Hey, is that you back, Graham? Welcome back. I don't know how this works, to be honest. I'm not really used to Twitch, but I can see the viewer count going 1, 2, 1, 2. One of them is me, so. So I am going to create a fade out for anything relating to the interface container. So will I tween it? Will I tween it? What's the advantage of tweening it? None, really. I'm just going to use an animation player. Although an animation player is just yet another node. Do I need it? So easy though. Fade in controls, fade in UI. Yeah. Now the beauty of this actually is that we can actually do multiple fade ins and fade outs. So for fade in UI, we can do one animation that just does everything for the whole game for now using this temporary setup. So we'll add a track for the image overlay, right? And we can set that. So this is a fade in. So we are going to set our visibility, modulate alpha to 0. Ooh, oh right, that's the whole UI stuff. You know what, the spectral, I know that needs a bit of work. I'm going to hide that for now. Where is our spectral? Oh, it's in here. There we go, hidden that for now. So image overlay. Where's our actual picture? Location image, there we go. Right, so that's what we want to change. So we go to visibility, we'd make it transparent. Add a key. Ding. And 1. Yep, 1 second will do. And then we'll fade the picture in. And key, right? So we've faded in our current location. Now we can actually make this animation last, like, let's say 2 seconds, and we can start fading other things in. So at the 1 second mark, we can start fading in the label for the location. So the image comes in first and then the label appears after. So we're going to set that to invisible, key it, and then we're going to fade that in at this point here. So now we get this kind of two-step animation. You can see the separation between the layers. Oh, key. There we go. So let's play that back. Okay, so obviously that didn't work because it was, there we go, right. So it's going to go in and in, right? Lovely. What else do we want? This gray bit down here, we only really want that to appear when there's narration playing. So not quite sure whether we should do anything for that right now. Not really fussed. So next thing is our UI element. So we can do some kind of, let's fade in the labels first, individually. Actually, you know what? We're going to fade, all the buttons are going to get drawn, right? So we'll just fade the lot in. So we'll just do this interface container. So, yeah, we'll fade it in here with the title. So we're going to create a new key for interface controller. Set that to none. Key it. Great. Go 2 seconds. Fade it back in. Key. All right. So that should do the job. And now we just need to play that backwards to reverse it, right? So I had to play it once first to see the full effect. Play it backwards. All right, so when you change locations now, we wanted to do that, yeah? And then what happens when you click one of the options is they fade out, and the next one loads in, right? So, fade in UI, and then we play that backwards. Easy peasy. Cool, and that was just one animation that does lots of things for us. Bit of Rolling Stones. I've heard this song in a long time. Ruby Tuesday. Okay, so one of the beautiful things about OBS is that you can record the music and the mic separately as well. So if I want to upload this video to YouTube later on without some sort of copyright strike, I can. Not that I can. So how do we kick this in then? So it's user interface.animation player. Let's have a look at the part in our game where we're actually updating our UI. So that would be update GUI. So you update the image, you update the text, and so on. So actually what we want to do first is you want to hook into the animation player. Not going to tell us it's that? Nope, clearly not. Bit weird. Oh no, that's because we're in game. So we need to actually get a hook to it. User interface, animation player. That should be it, right? And we want to play. Not going to tell us? No. We're going to play that, right? Now we want to hook into a yield. So I'm going to spell yield right. We want to wait for it to fade out before we change anything, right? And then once everything's changed, we can fade in. So we need to get a signal from our animation player. So go to node, animation change, animation finished. And where are we going to connect this? We have no scripts. Well, that's interesting. I'm not sure what we do in this case. looked like I needed some universal user interface script, which we don't have at the moment. So we'll create one. Scripts, user interface. All right, there we go. So we're going to have a signal generated from our animation player now. Animation finished. We'll connect to the user interface. And what will happen? We're going to emit a signal. We need to set up that signal up here. What should we call that? UI faded. That'll do. Okay. Is that it? I think there's a better way of doing that. I don't think we need to do that, right? I'm just going to, I'll keep this in. I'll just comment it out at the moment. Because the animation player has a built-in animation underscore finished. So I've got a feeling that as long as we know what we're waiting for, we can yield to an event from that object. So let's just see Godot yield to existing signal. I'll just look at the basic use of yield. Yield. I thought that would give us links to the, for goodness sake. Oops. Oh, for goodness sake. You know what, sometimes it's just bad to use Google. Oops. Wow, is there no documentation on it? Oh, that's interesting. I need to read up on this. In fact, you know what? I need to read this entire page. I'll probably get some real fundamental concepts nailed down. Hey, nope, still here. Yar. Did you see your Graham character, Graham? You're now in the game. Yield, get tree, idle frame, get no. Yeah, right. Okay, look. Resume execution when an animation is done playing. I don't think that's correct, but maybe it is. Let's try it. So we've got a link to the node. So that's the node there. And they're saying it's just finished. Oh, if you say so. So display X, it's display objects, display characters, and now play this backwards. Oh, wait a minute. This one that needs to play backwards. Oh, good. Just checking, Graham. Play backward or backwards? Not sure. Double check. Play backwards. All right. Hopefully now we'll have some sort of fading UI. Nope. Error connecting to signal finished during yield. Yeah, I don't think there is. I don't think finished exists for animation player. There's only animation underscore finished. So let's try that. Might be old documentation we were looking at. Yep. All right. Oh, sweet. Enter the lift. Nice. All right, let's go to floor 2. That's nice. That's working a lot nicer. Back down to floor 1. Into the living area. Nice. What about if we change things like this? Oh! Okay. So what I've realized there then is update GUI. We use it a lot. We update the GUI whenever we update a button. We update the GUI all the time. We actually only need to do this when we transition from one location to the next. So we have a player. We might need to change some of our links here. We've got a player object, and the player uses an exit, right? So technically, we should do it here. I'm gonna have to get this get node fixed a bit better. So if we look at the use exit function, find all examples of use exit. So here in the game script, no, that's the first example, obviously. On button up, when a button has been pressed. Okay, so this is button function. Maybe we should be doing it there. Actually, that would make more sense. All right, let's move it back. So here we're going to fade out GUI. And then fade in your GUI. Good thing about doing it there in the use exit is we'll know whether we need to do it on the first screen or not. Now we've got a slight issue. Yet again, well, let's just try that first of all. So you can see at the beginning here. Wow, okay, that's pretty bad, isn't it? Try again. We've broken it. Is it because we quit at a particular time? So I'll do that, play again. Yeah, so our initialization at the moment now doesn't fade anything in. So you know what we need to do? We've solved the problem in one, just asking the question solved the problem. So when we use the exit, if it's the first time, then obviously actually, I don't know if this will help. Obviously, when we use the exit the first time, we only want to fade in the GUI when they reach the location. But we're updating all this stuff here. I don't think we've updated the GUI yet. So Let's have a look at our game scene. Yeah, so we update the GUI, right? So that takes us from the balcony into the living area. So there's no GUI at that point. Then the player uses the exit. Do we just fade it in? Is that going to work? It's a bit messy. We need some kind of like intro to the game, right? Because at the moment we just don't have anything. We should probably have some kind of like, on the first time the game starts, fade the screen in. Just admiring our cutscene. All right, excellent. So that should fix the problem now. We can turn on the TV without having to worry about our UI reloading. But when we enter the lift, we transition out and into our new location. All right, I've just realized I'm splitting the audio on the live stream into desktop audio and mic. But what that means is that if I then upload to YouTube and I want to take out the music, then none of my audio adventure that I'm creating will have any sound whatsoever. I should just screw the music. I'm not quite sure how. I need like a separate line in, an auxiliary mixer on the OBS. So much to learn. Okay, great. So we have now implemented basic implemented basic location fade in out UI. Sweet. Oh my goodness, we're flying through it now. Can't really hear the music. Is the level too low? Oh. Maybe. I can see it registering. If I got this, Graham. Does it go up and down? YouTube hears all, by the way. There's no hiding from their copyright bots. I had the tiniest little tinkle in the background. No, you still can't hear it. Oh, that's interesting. What if I go like, okay, what if I go like this? Spotify, full volume. Can you hear that? It's the Kinks. Waterloo Sunset. Ah, well, that's interesting. Wow. What's going on there? I don't understand. So basically, I am only streaming channel 1 of my audio, which thankfully is my mic. Otherwise, I'd be just streaming nothing. But I'm not capturing any desktop audio. Okay. Well, thanks for clarifying that. That's interesting. I've got this as well. Does this? I don't think this works actually. Does this alter my voice in any way? Probably doesn't. I'll just turn it back off. Guessing that's another nope coming right up. Turn this music down a bit more then. Put your own music on, for God's sake. Right. I'll have to have a word with my bro. See, he is Twitch streamer Fat Bob Records. So big shout out to Fat Bob Records. I'm sure he'll give me the lowdown. All right, another bug. In fact, killed all the bugs off. We can close that. Player needs to be able to replay the cutscene later from his PDA. Well, he will be able to. Now we fixed that. Add the ability to play music. Ooh. Well, we need music first. Shake and shader options. So we could have wavy lines and all the classic shader options you can think of that have ever been in a cutscene to try and make it a bit more interesting than a still image. We could always have an option to fade in video at some point. I just don't think what I'm trying to stay away from is anything that's like seriously asset hungry. Unless we find like a team of animators that are happy to make loads of cool stuff, then probably not going to see anything there. Although there is tons of stock footage. Might be a bit dull, I don't know. So soon I want to be looking at creating some kind of roguelike RPG settings. I want to be able to, we won't be using a sword and bow and arrow, but we want some way of creating areas within the game that are dynamically generated. So you move from defined locations, and between those defined locations, you have areas of randomness and various encounters you might have in those areas. Hopefully, we'll learn a lot in doing that into how we can bring encounters and interesting events into the core gameplay areas. The gameplay areas where we really want to drive narrative. The areas in between are the sort of the gameplay hook. So we ain't got a hook yet, although we have created everything we need for putting together many puzzles. Let's have a look at our core list. So I'm going to cross the cutscenes off the list because I think we've done a pretty good job coming up with something there. We don't need an ability to switch levels yet because we've got loads. We have done a basic implementation of Dialogue Designer. We want to import the Dialogue Designer scripts into the repository so that we can see what changes we made. I think I'm going to finish today by doing that. Quite important in that we want to be able to track the changes that we've made to a Dialogue Designer. We want to be able to see any changes if it gets updated. What's changed. I am not supposed to show any of the code from that, so I might have to do that off stream. Enable characters to move, enable characters to make background exit and arrival sounds. Debug node, save and load. Introduce GUI to view game audio log. Add player narrative triggers. Set room size. Just started that. I'd like to finish that one off. I think it seems to be working though. When narration plays, oh no, yeah. So our room location is working, but our hook to this isn't. So that's a bug. I'm gonna put that in bold. Bug. Play sound effects. Need ability to loop. Use this for PDA crackle. Yeah, so that's something we need to add in. Take an inventory. I mean, if I fire it back up again, is that the only thing we've now not got? Pretty much. So what we need now is an inventory, and we need a system whereby we can interact with objects. What I'd love to do is just like, I really want to take all the guesswork out of it. I wanted, in stuff like Monkey Island, you'd be like, try this, and you get stuck, and you try loads of things until you finally had a breakthrough. And there was that satisfaction in like persevering and working out what is it. I've got to think through and understand this puzzle. And sometimes it was just so ridiculous. what I'd like for this is to be more natural, because in life, I don't think puzzles tend to occur like in Monkey Island. You either fail or you succeed, but you push forward either way. And I think that's how I'd like this to happen. So if you pick up a key card, you've got the key card in your inventory. You go to a door, which has a key card slot. You click on the key card slot. It's going to tell you now in this to use the key card that you've got. You wouldn't have had that option if you didn't have the key card. So it should become relatively obvious. I mean, they could just go, oh yeah, I'm going to go to this location, look at this, and look at this, and look at this, and try and work out what they need to do. We can still add some sort of depth to the puzzle solving without them just creating some sort of repetitive, I don't want to think about it, I just want to progress. I think it will work. We will see. Anyway, on that note, I'm calling it a night, 10:30, another hour and a half of progress. We really need an audio specialist to start mixing and doing Foley and playing around with this. So if anyone wants to help out, if you know anyone that would like to help out, please put them in touch. Thanks for tuning in, Graham. Catch up soon. Thanks for everyone that watched, and have a good night. Ciao for now.